Well, you're not putting this up without our consent. I do not consent to putting any of my stuff with my face up here.
Most memorable?
About? This is Dudes in Wonderland. We're doing a special episode.
Dudes in Wonderland?
How is it, Brian?
Okay.
Just okay? Ross, what do you think about the crab cake?
It is full of crab.
That's about it.
Ask me about the next thing.
Okay, you're supposed to ask me.
Oh, what am I supposed to ask you?
Just ask me what I think about it.
What do you think about it, Angela?
Okay, I really like crab cakes, so I really like this.
Okay.
But other people, my husband being that other person, said that it was under-seasoned. Oh yeah, that's actually a good idea. Maybe bring a little mini salt shaker. What do you think?
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I'd say along with the corn cake and the beef mixed together, it's really good. Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is really good.
Oh, I've got you framed up really well. You want to see that now? I'm putting you on the
great
spot.
butternut puree inside.
No, get the mushroom, man. Get a mushroom. The mushrooms are fantastic. Like the texture on them, so good right there. So good. It's not like usually when you eat a mushroom, you feel like you taste like you're eating rubber or something. Like that's the texture of it. But this is like it's really soft and it is not rubbery whatsoever. It's what's a good word for that?
Buttery.
Buttery.
It's like butter. You just
Kind of melts.
melts in your mouth.
Any umami flavors in there?
Oh,
Brian?
absolutely. I mean, that goes along with the mushrooms. So I get to have one of these scallops right here. Should I think I should like cut it in half probably. Yeah.
I'm gonna savor every bit of it.
They cooked it well. It's seasoned well too. Or parsnips and celery puree. Oh, it's so good. And then the butternut squash is also really good. Ravioli. Yeah. Sensory experience.
How so?
My mouth is super cold, but it's sweet.
Not too sweet.
Yeah, not too sweet. It's a good chocolate. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you
very much.
We should probably grab a napkin and still walk over there.
Yeah. So Angela has roped me into this against my will to reviewing some of this food that we have. So the first thing we're going to review is the lump crab cake. This was a major disappointment for me. I really enjoyed crab cakes. It was overall just lacking a lot of flavor. You could just taste crab, which is great, but you don't go to a crab cake just to taste crab. You get the herbs, you get the seasonings, you get the salt, you get the breadcrumbs and the texture. It just wasn't there. And then overall, the mayo on top of it was completely under-seasoned and did not add a depth or a layer of flavor that was totally needed in that dish. So this thing is rated a 3.1 for the ratings. My personal rating would be a 2 at best. I'm in favor that they put so much crab in it, but they lacked all the other things that make it a crab cake. So let's talk about the smoked corned beef dish at Flavors from Fire. This thing is fire, period. It's probably one of the most underappreciated food at the Food and Wine Festival, hands down. This thing is just out of the world goodness. The pickled onions, the blonde ale beer fondue on these fantastic warm crispy potato chips, delicious. Salt and the smoked corned beef, all of it was fantastic and a flavor bomb in your mouth in every single bite. I absolutely love this dish. On the ratings, I would give this probably a 3.75. And we're on to the charred chimichurri skirt steak on a smoked corn cake. This was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as the smoked corned beef. However, skirt steak was really, really good. The other accompaniments didn't add a lot. Actually, I think they subtracted from the flavor. But the steak skirt was really good. Just the other components failed. So my rating for this, it would be probably a 3.75 for the steak skirt, but accompaniments really detracted from the overall dish, period. So I would give it a 3 overall. Okay, we're following up with the seared scallops. And the first thing I want to say about this is whoever is rating this is wrong, period. It is a 3.3 on the rating scales that I'm looking at. And so my rating for this will be a 4.5, even though that's not allowed. But anyone who rates below a 4 really doesn't have a tongue. That's all I can say. The truffle celery root puree is fantastic. The little amount of Brussels sprouts in it is really good. And the mushrooms, man, the mushrooms on this dish were the star of the show. Not the scallops, but the mushrooms. And they were melt in your mouth buttery. The scallops were good, don't get me wrong, but the mushrooms were the star of this show. So we're on to desserts, and the liquid nitro chocolate almond truffle was crazy. That's all I can really say about it. It is kind of it is unique in the sense of like you're not gonna get this really anywhere. Was it good though? That's a question. I think sensory-wise, it was really good. If you would give me like 2 or 3 more, I would probably say it is okay. But for the shock value of eating it, I would give it probably a 3.3. I think it's a little overrated, especially because you can't really taste the almond in it. At least I never did. And so I felt that was very lacking in it. The chocolate overall was good. It was sweet. But it wasn't just like, oh man, this is the best chocolate I've ever had in my life. So, oh buddy, we're on to the maple bourbon Boursin cheesecake. This thing is dynamite. That is one easy way to describe it. The overall flavor, it's not too sweet for a cheesecake, which is what you want. The textures were there, especially because in the inside it had a more firm cheesecake outside, but then once you got to the middle, you got this really like pure cheese in a sense, and it was sweeter and it was creamier and it was lovely. And the caramel on top added a nice spike in the sweetness level, along with the pecans. Varied up the texture qualities that were going on in your mouth, because you just didn't want that single note of constant creamy cheesiness in your mouth. So the pecans were added a nice amount of flavor to it too. I would rate this thing at probably a 3.75. It was probably my favorite dessert. So we come to the biggest underdog of tonight, the maple bacon funnel cake topped with candied bacon. Holy moly, you could level a small child with this thing. It is huge, especially because they just decide to dump what appears to be, it looks like they have a giant loaf of ice cream in the back, and they just cut off a slice. It's a brick on top of this funnel cake. And the candy bacon is really good too, because it's not like, it tastes like Asian pork, basically. The ones you get in like fried rice. And so it doesn't taste like normal bacon. So it's And so that it might use MSG. I don't know. It's really good, period. We devoured it, and I loved it. So it's rated 3.2. I would rate it as a 3.4. Probably, maybe 3.5. That might be a little generous, but it was totally an underdog and an unexpected one. But it was good.
Well, you're not putting this up without our consent. I do not consent to putting any of my stuff with my face up here.
What are you talking about? This is Dudes in Wonderland. We're doing a special episode.
Dudes in Wonderland?
Memorable.
The brisket was really good. The brisket nachos.
Brisket with the, oh, I didn't have that.
No, it wasn't brisket. It was the corned beef.
Corned beef.
No, I had the skirt steak.
Chimichuri skirt steak with the corn.
Good. And the chocolate mousse and the Nitro is good.
Yeah, and the cheesecake. The cheesecake was really good.
The Boursin cheesecake.
All right,
was so good.